Hello, Radiant One, and welcome to the Golden Frequency, the show and podcast sharing wisdom, experiences, tools, and knowledge for and from the new era, weaving the worlds of seen and unseen, spiritual and practical, magical and mundane. I'm your host, spiritual business coach, energy alignment method mentor, catalyst, and facilitator, Maria Serafina. I serve soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs and holistic business owners wanting to grow and expand from within, as well as lead with love in business and life. If you have yet to join my sacred newsletter community of Radiant Ones, here to support the unveiling, the awakening, healing, and transformation of all through the lifting of the frequency and vibration of our realm, personally and collectively, I invite you to join us. Go to mariaserafina.com/EAM, where you'll also receive my free guide to the 5 steps of the energy alignment method, designed to support you in recognizing and releasing stagnant, stale, or stuck energy in every area of your life and business, as well as create flow and align you to that which you do desire. On my website, you will also find show notes, transcripts, and previous episodes. Know that I always encourage you to listen with an open heart and an open mind and take only what serves you and leave the rest. It is my deep honor, my great pleasure and joy to share this episode with you. Here is today's episode. Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome into today's episode where I am going to be answering a viewer-listener question. As I was gearing up to begin recording these episodes, I put out the call if there was anyone who had a topic that they would like for me to cover or something that they were wondering about, challenged by, struggling with, to let me know. And someone did. Well, more than one person did. But this today is a shout out to Victoria, who shared this with me. And it's like, it goes something along the lines of why one area of seems to be falling apart as soon as you've gotten another one in place. So you've been, let's say, whether it's business or life, there's something that you've been dealing with, you've been working through, maybe energetically, you've been getting it all sorted. And the moment that is then sorted and you're like, then it seems as though there is another either fire or another area that then is calling for your attention. And I love this question, first of all, so thank you for that. I think it's a brilliant question. And so first of all, if you've been with me for a while, you may have heard me say this before. So the way that I view God, source, the universe, is that I don't think that we're ever quote unquote tested. I think that we're initiated, which is also why I have a program called the 7 Initiations, because I see that as a soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneur and holistic business owner, there are 7 particular initiations that we're like constantly, but we seem to be moving through again and again on different levels. And I think it's the same with whether it be life or whether it be business. So I don't see the universe as testing us. I see it as being there. I see the universe as being very loving and supportive. And so whatever challenges are coming our way is an opportunity for cleanup, for clear up, for release. It's an opportunity for expansion and growth. And yes, that sometimes is really annoying, comes at the wrong time, and sucks ass, which I get. However, again, it is an opportunity, and you can choose whether or not to meet that opportunity or not. You and I both know if you don't, it's going to come back in another way, shape, or form. And it may even, when you've already cleaned it or released it, it may come in a different shape as well. But more about that later. So for me, there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this. And there's a couple of different things that could be going on for you. And so you, the listener or the viewer, I want you to check in and see which one of these seems like you can do it either most resonant, and also if you have already downloaded my free energy alignment method guide, you can use your sway to check in whether or not which one of these is actually true for you or not. So first of all, the universe, or not even the universe, but if we look at nature, so a tree does not stop growing. A tree will grow from a tiny seed. It'll then create a stem or that then grows into a trunk, and it will have branches and smaller or bigger branches. It will then have leaves. In the winter, it'll shed all of its leaves, and then it'll continue expanding and growing. So if you look at nature, it never stops. It never stops going through the expansion, the growth period. It never stops growing, taking in nourishment and nutrients. It doesn't stop the leaves from breaking through the shell that they're in and from expanding. And so that continued growth is continual. And it's the same with, the cycles and again, nature. If it doesn't stop. There's no other way for me to say it. And so if we take that analogy and use it, because we as humans are part of nature. We're not apart from nature. We are a part of nature. The same is true for us. We do not stop growing. We do not stop expanding. And so once you have released and aligned, once you have created order or organized or sorted one area of your life, it may simply be that you're now ready to look at that next part of your life. And as I shared in my episode about expansion, initially that does not look pretty. It's messy AF, it's chaotic, it's disorganized, it is, it's all of those things. And we're like, oh, I don't want to look at it. So that might simply be it. It might be that because you have moved into a path of wanting to, I remember this from years ago and I've shared this before, when I chose love, when I knew that love is the way for me, I expected the heavens to open, angels to descend, rose petals to be strewn because I had chosen love. What I didn't realize that what I had really ignited or initiated was an opportunity for me to look at everything that was out of resonance with love in my life. And it has taken me through all of these different cycles. And a lot of them are initially, all of them are initially messy and annoying and irritating and uncomfortable. They're all of these things. So it may, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry to tell you this, because I love you, is that might simply be what's going on, is that you have simply, you're simply ready for it. And oftentimes we're more ready and more prepared than we thought, because what you have moved through in that area that you have gotten sorted or organized, you have learned things, you've moved through challenges, you're not the same person. You have, maybe you've implemented new behaviors, methods, tools, all of these things that you can now then apply to that new area of your life. And in my experience, it does become easier. The way that I've seen it over the past, I would say 15 years now of this, is that it does become easier and easier. And then there are those big ones where it seems that you've been, going back to the beginning until you realize that you've not. So the messy part is not as long or as deep as they used to be. That's at least my personal experience. So that might be one reason why you're experiencing this, is simply because ready for it, and sending you loads of love and holding space. And I also know how annoying it can be. So it's so funny because whenever I'm talking about this, I can't help but smile because I know what's on the other side of it. And and so that's why I'm smiling. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing or smiling because I'm laughing and smiling because I know that it's because of who you are in truth and what you've discovered and what you're going through, and you're ready for that next step if that's where you're at. Now, it may also be that you have different things, and I've made a small list. So it could be that there are either self-sabotage that's going on. Self-sabotage is really like where you've moved through a thing, and then because it's so uncomfortable, it's so unusual, it's a new way of being or living, doing, you might be so uncomfortable with it that there is a self-sabotage that shows up, meaning that you most likely unconsciously try to sabotage whatever you have created in some way, shape, or form. Usually those are unconscious, not like we would consciously choose to do that. And so that could be one thing. It can also be the thing that came up for me, and that's not something that I've written on the list. It can also be if you have either, a generational pattern or something going on that goes back through the lines and even in the future going on with this, where what you have, quote unquote, broken out of or created, there's simply because of the energy, like we have to release the energy for it to be released fully. And that goes back through generations or is ancestral, then you being able to, you'll have to release that first before it's fully implemented. So that could be something as well for you to look at. And I mentioned it in the intro, but if you want a tool to look at and release generational patterns, the energy alignment method is brilliant for that. And you can go to mariaserafina.com/EAM to get that free download about that. The next thing it could be is limiting beliefs. Maybe you have limiting beliefs about what you're able to hold space for, or what you are able to allow, or who you should be or are in truth. Limiting beliefs are usually in the mental layer of the auric field. It's to do with our thoughts, and maybe you have thoughts about what you're able to receive or allow into your life. So it could be limiting beliefs. It could also be very often there's a talk about upper limits as like a ceiling, or like we talk about women breaking through the glass ceilings. But other than upper limits, there can maybe also be what I've discovered is outer limits. So there can be a restraining factor as to how far and how wide you can expand. So that might be something that's going on as well in terms of one area falling apart once the other one is in place. And finally, there can be fear in some way, shape, or form about this. There can be fear, and that the fear can have different levels, whether it's worry or slight hesitation or trepidation. It doesn't have to be blown out fear. So there can be that as well. And that's something that then I would encourage you to look at. So to recap, so it could either be that you're simply ready for it, and very often that's it. It could also be that there's a number of things that could be going on in your life and in your business energetically for that. And of course, it can also be a combination, which it very often is. It's a combination of the two. And so if that's you, then there's a couple of tools. First of all, I'll mention the energy alignment method tool that I use, which is free to download on my website. There is also the 7 initiations that a program that either has just come out or is coming out soon, that will take you through those 7 initiations, the 7 areas of your business, but also relates to life in general, I would say, that could support you in that. And then finally, I would say, have a look at what's going on, because ultimately you'll know what's true for you. So see what's going on for you in terms of this. Is there a pattern of sorts? Is it quote unquote triggered by certain people or certain situations, or does it have different people involved? One of the things that you get when you download the free EAM guide that I've created for you is that as a bonus, you also get what's it called? There's a tool that I can't remember the name of right now that helps you look at the different things that goes on in that situation, whether it be the people, whether it be your thoughts and emotions, whether it be your beliefs about the situation, and the energy of it. It goes through all these different and helps you take you through possible scenarios for that thing. That will come once you download. It'll come after a few days. That'll be sent to you as a bonus as well. So it'll help you discern. I've used that tool for the life of me. I cannot remember the name of right now. I've used it, especially when I've done in the past, when I've done either launches, when I've done to look at a whole situation in terms of what's going on for me in that situation. I've also used it when with clients, of course, but I've also used it for if there's a knot that I can't seem to crack, I sit down with this tool and then I have a look at it and I begin to see what's going on, so I get the full picture. So that is what I have for you in this episode. I think this was kind of like my first viewer listener question in this sense. There's going to be more of them. I hope this served you, and let me know in the comments what came up for you as you were listening to this and how did it serve you. Sending you loads of love and hope that you'll have a wonderful day wherever in the world you might be. Radiant One, I hope today's episode served you well. For all the deeds and details, click the link in the description, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend so that the love shared within this episode through our connection may be amplified and rippled out further into the world. Thank you. I love you.